I'm Jaclyn Cashman. Valentine's Day is less than a week away, and that means florists are preparing for one of their busiest days of the year.
We have received a lot of new information in just the last few minutes. I've been speaking with a lot of the neighbors here.
All I can say is, whoa, okay, going outside, it is freezing. And it wouldn't be so bad if the beginning of the week wasn't so mild, and then all of a sudden, it hits you.
Veronica, at least one lawsuit has been filed against the lawyer in question, but she tells the 22 News I-Team that she's no scam artist, but instead has fallen on hard times. 127, 128, 144. There's no 142 Main Street here in East Hampton, which is the address provided to Yellow Pages. After 1 month of some very challenging undercover police work, 3 men are now behind bars and 15 guns are off the streets in Springfield.
We continue to follow breaking news across western Massachusetts. We've had some severe weather come our way. First we had the wind, now we have the rain. The unemployment rate held steady at 9.7% last month as 36,000 jobs were lost. A tank tagged. Police are trying to figure out who put graffiti on a restored piece of history in Chicopee.
The owner of Handyman has been going around town and finding roofers that aren't pulling permits on jobs and contacting law enforcement and the 22 News I-Team.
Well, you know the slogan, 22 News working for you. We're taking that to a whole new level tonight. We're inside of our production studio right now here at 22 News, where currently the chairs are empty, but in a short time from now, we will have 100 local residents here to ask anything they want of Governor Deval Patrick. We have a 1-hour special, a town hall meeting with the governor, where local residents can ask really whatever they want of the governor. It's a rare opportunity. We are following breaking news out of Connecticut. Police say a patient has shot and wounded a nurse supervisor in a Connecticut hospital. Police said the nurse suffered a non-life-threatening wound during an afternoon attack in the oncology department of Danbury Hospital.
That's exactly right. Once Republicans realized that Hurricane Gustav didn't pack as much punch as originally thought, they've been going into full gear trying to make up for time lost during Monday's abbreviated schedule. After fighting this fire for about 2 hours, firefighters finally got the blaze under control and put out the flames, but the wounds for these local business owners and residents are still fresh at this time.
Several Franklin County towns were under a state of emergency today as heavy snow caused some major problems. Sunderland officials set up an emergency operations center to take calls from those who needed it. Well, let's get to that point there in terms of national security. Attorney General Martha Coakley is not in favor of sending more troops over to Afghanistan, and you think that that's the wrong choice, and you've also said that you think that that shows her lack of experience in foreign policy. Can you expand on why you think that's the right decision and maybe why you think that she doesn't completely understand the concerns over in Afghanistan right now? Isn't there something like $947 million for roads, bridges, and water infrastructure improvements?
Correct.
And I think there's like 8,000 infrastructure projects that
yes.
officials have already started saying, well, we want these covered
Well,
with
what
this money.
I served on
Can you
this
talk about
task
Western
force.
Massachusetts specifically about maybe ideas or proposals that you're putting in there for shovel-ready projects?
Well, each community got to submit its own list, so it's not possible for me to sort of give you a list, but every single community...
Can you give us maybe one major one that would be important for Western Massachusetts?
No, not off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Veronica, that was until we got involved, helping 2 homeowners who felt they were being scammed by a local paver.
You should always get a contract. We usually do. This time, we just didn't.
A local paver offered Teresa Grimes' husband some asphalt left over from another job. There was no contract, just a handshake. The Grimes family simply told the workers what they wanted.
We needed some gullies filled, and he said he'd put a strip down the center of the driveway.
And instead you got your whole driveway done?
The whole half of this driveway, yes.
And how much you ended up paying?
$2,100.
But with nothing in writing, it became a he said, she said situation.
And ended up having to put it on a charge card, which now will take us years to pay off.
Once a paving company finished the job with the Grimes family, they came next door to Andy Johnson's house, told them he had some extra asphalt, and said they'd put it down in the driveway. Andy said okay. But then after the job was done, they asked for $2,000. That's when his family contacted us.
Later they come in and said, we want $2,000 now. I said, $2,000 for what? For those 2 turnouts? He says, well, no, I had to go buy asphalt to do the rest of it. And I said, well, you shouldn't have done the rest of what?
Unlike his neighbor, Johnson never discussed payment terms for this extra asphalt. The 22 News I-team contacted this paver. We indicated that soliciting people for a service without telling them the cost seemed deceptive. The owner refunded the Grimes family and agreed that Johnson owed them nothing, saving them a total of $4,000.
And to be fair, we decided to not include the name of the paver in this story because they resolved the dispute with their customers. But if you're hiring someone to fix your driveway this summer, get a contract, look them up with the Better Business Bureau, and get references.
Thousands of tourists have come to Martha's Vineyard to enjoy what this island has to offer, specifically the first family visiting here.
Now we actually have tax on liquor, which is something we didn't have before. So residents are definitely going over the border to New Hampshire. They're seeing huge sales increases at liquor stores. How much money do you think we're losing here in Massachusetts as a result of people going over the border?
Well, 22 News is here at the ferry terminal on Martha's Vineyard, where we've been covering President Barack Obama's vacation here. But everything changed late last night when 22 News got word that Senator Ted Kennedy had passed away. He lost his long fight to brain cancer, but now he'll be remembered as the Lion of the Senate.
So we're going to have a big smack of winter tomorrow. It felt more like spring today. It was great out there. Who couldn't use a vacation? If you're looking to get away, experts say spring travel deals are the best they've seen in years. For example, at Disneyland in California, you can pay for 3 nights and get 2 free. And don't forget last-minute cruise deals. There are plenty of them out there.
It is certainly not the news that Senator Ted Kennedy was hoping to hear from doctors. The cause of Saturday's seizure, a malignant brain tumor. The 76-year-old has been undergoing tests here at Massachusetts General Hospital since he was airlifted on Saturday. Malignant gliomas are a type of brain cancer diagnosed in about 9,000 Americans each year. The average survival can range from less than 1 year for very advanced and aggressive types, or about 5 years for different types that are slower going. His doctor is telling 22 News in a statement that the usual course of treatment includes combinations of various forms of radiation and chemotherapy. But the best course of treatment will be determined after further testing and analysis. Earlier today, Kennedy's colleague and longtime friend, Senator John Kerry, said he is pulling for his pal.
That on behalf of Ted, everybody needs to pull for him and his family. And remember that this guy is one unbelievable fighter.
22 News was at the State House about an hour ago where we spoke with Governor Deval Patrick. He says he wishes the senator well.
I just want to express my concern for Ted Kennedy and my love for him and his family at this time. I hope for his recovery and his comfort.
The senator will remain at MGH for the next few days, according to protocol. His doctors say he is in good spirits and has a lot of energy. Now, in terms of Senator Ted Kennedy's political future, he's not up for re-election until 2012. If he decided to resign, state law would allow a special election no sooner than 145 days and no later than 160 days after the seat became vacant. Now, 22 News has been following this story since the very beginning on Saturday when we first learned that Senator Ted Kennedy suffered a seizure, and now we know that that was the result of a malignant brain tumor. Be sure to stay with 22 News for the latest information. We are live in Boston. Jaclyn Cashman, 22 News.
A decades-old auto shop and restaurant severely damaged from a morning fire had neighbors running to the devastation to see it for themselves.
In retrospect, it's very amazing that none of us got hurt.
Larry Flynn watched as his Hatfield auto repair shop, C&L Service, went up in smoke. A business he's co-owned for 35 years is now reduced to rubble. Family and friends equally as devastated to see this community landmark destroyed. The blaze broke out around 9:30 Monday morning when gas from a vehicle Flynn was working on dripped onto the floor. The gas came in contact with a hot light bulb, igniting a massive fire.
The whole thing started to go, and we tried to put it out with a hose, but within a minute, I mean, it was just too much, and we got out before we got killed ourselves.
Also damaged the adjoining business and longtime hangout for area patrons, the Double B restaurant. Luckily, fire didn't travel inside, but there is significant smoke damage.
It's very upsetting. We're hoping it doesn't damage the bar too much. A lot of people are here, a lot of the friends, a lot of people that their family, all generations are here watching this. We're all for supporting Wayno and them. The garage, they're wonderful people. The garage, they'll come out and they'll help people with their car if it breaks down or anything. I mean, everybody lends a hand.
And it's that community support that already has one of the owners of the Double B looking to rebuild what he lost in the fire.
It is what it is, you know. I can't control everything, so why get upset over it? We'll just take it as it comes and do what it takes to rebuild.
That decision to rebuild isn't quite as easy for C&L Service because they would pretty much have to start from scratch, an idea too tough to think about right now.